Oh,
so
we
that
weren't
then
live?
then it'll be recorded in the chat.
All right. Well, I put the link in the chat.
All right.
That was the private chat. Should that have been in the comments?
I need you to put that in the comments. If you can copy that to the comments, or I can copy it to the comments.
I'll have you. Well, I'd rather not send that link out in the comments.
Oh,
because
okay.
That's a direct link to a specific version. So here's like a public one. It won't be quite a new version, but that's the better link, the proper.
You sent it to the private chat again. You didn't send it to the comment.
Well, it said comments. You gotta join the chat, and then you gotta connect to the YouTube account.
Oh. In order to post a comment?
Yep. But didn't you upgrade your 2020 or update your 2020, or no, you didn't do that?
All right, I just put it in there.
Okay.
It looks like it opened in 2025. Okay.
All right. Yeah, there was some stuff going on with that 2020 that we fixed.
So Eric, you have 2025 running?
Yeah.
Awesome. Would you mind opening up? Because this is actually a spot where I would have a question for you, Jaffe, that could possibly be done in Rhino, or really the Grasshopper. Here's what I'm running into. If I do a schedule and I schedule quantities, and you know what? That means that if we use that same technique, we'll have to do. When you started that, remember when I was in Revit, I started the Grasshopper, and then from there in Grasshopper, I started the actual backwards. From Revit, I opened the Rhino, and then from Rhino, I opened the Grasshopper. Right? Do you have to have that Rhino open? Can you go straight from Grasshopper to Revit and back?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Like even right now, you could close that Rhino instance. It's just going to hide it.
Gotcha.
And it'll only be the Grasshopper window up there.
All right. So the question that I have, which is about the multi-categories, okay? If I make a multi-category schedule in Revit, and I say I just want to list the category, and I generally do the count, and then I sort by the category, and I say, okay, and maybe you could even do this on your machine and give me this answer, and then I don't even have to have it written. Let me take this and do my sorting and grouping. That to just be one. So you'll notice that it says I have doors, generic models, and windows, but it does not tell me about my walls, which I have walls as well. I want to know what categories aren't listed in a multi-category schedule in 2020 as opposed to 2025. Because in 2025, they're now scheduling walls. Does anyone have an idea how I can find out what wasn't scheduled on that list? I mean, obviously, if I had a Revit file that had all those objects in it, one of all those objects, I do know that it does schedule pipes, it does schedule ducts, but for some reason, there's a handful of objects that it doesn't seem to schedule. I think one of those being If I remember correctly, let's see, architectural, if I drew a stair, and a railing is not listed in there. So
but
Eric,
in your schedule, you picked which categories. Did you pick everything, or
no,
let me
no,
see?
no, 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 no. This is supposed to be all categories. This is supposed to be
Oh,
a multi-category schedule. See how that's all that's listed. But the second I would come in here and I would draw myself a piece of duct, you would find that the duct was put in there. Okay. You would find that if I drew a piece of structure, a column, it would be added to the list. And what I'm trying to find out is what's not added to the 2020 list.
so like for instance, I'm going to post this in the chat. Like you can go to the release notes. Like so for Revit 2023, they tell you what the expanded category list was. So you'd kind of probably want to do that for each year.
Oh, this is what he's showing me. Did they add stuff every year? Because my bet is I bet they didn't even add anything for every year.
Yeah, that's hard to say, but yeah, I mean, then maybe they added one or two each year.
So that means, Eric, if you do a multi-category, you should be picking up on stairs and railings and ramps. But so it was picking up the ducts. It just wasn't picking up the duct systems, the pipe systems, the circuits. All right.
And it looks like at the top that said that was new in 2022, even though we're looking at Revit 2023.
Yeah. That's when they changed it. And then the only question I would end up having is, do I trust that list or do I think that there was anything else? Because, yeah, see, they couldn't. Then this is where they were running into their problem is you couldn't schedule these things before. It would drive you nuts. You couldn't get your counts of a wall sweep, something that you swept on the wall or on the fascias. And I would bet slab edge. See, they were solving all those problems all at once. But that was even worse because I think what happened in 2020 was I think you would find if you went to do a schedule, I don't even believe you could find wall sweeps on there. Oh, you could.
Jaffe, I did click on the first link you put. It's now functional. I don't need the second link, correct?
Correct.
Right.
And we'll just have to, like I said, it's now at least in this chat for posterity. That's why I wanted to go live, because I know that we're probably going to have the same problem with Nathan and probably going to have the same problem with Misty. So when she needs to fix it, but now we'll at least be able to, Eric, we need to play a little bit and try to figure out what we're going to do with this grasshopper and rhino. If you even want to get that way, you even want to get into it.
I'd like to get into it.
That's fine. I mean, like I said, it looks a lot like Dynamo, so I just need to figure out the new processes.
Did you learn Dynamo?
Enough to complete the task that we needed at the time. I didn't play with it much after that.
Where was that at?
I when I was in Vegas.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And Jaffe, what about you? Did you play with Dynamo at all?
A little bit. I think I did like a keynote schedule or something one time. That's my extent of it. The data structures are a little different. A lot of similarities, though, for sure.
Well, the big benefit that I see is by doing it with the Grasshopper and the Rhino, you're still backwards compatible to the 2020.
Yep.
And if you're doing the Dynamo, then you're going to be held in this situation. Well, you can only do that with the new Dynamo. And then you get into this situation, well, you can only do the new Dynamo on the new Revit. And everyone in the project says, we're not moving the Revit up. And there you are. You have the tools potential, but you lose all heart because your project's not on that new software. So that's where I see the biggest advantage. The smallest advantage is, good God, there's a million buttons.
Color coded.
Good gracious. And you're willing to help. So I think that's awesome. Eric, did you play at all with the Hypar? Did anyone play with the Hypar?
No.
Well,
I downloaded it, played it a little bit.
where the heck did it even go to? Must have been one of these guys. Yep, it was that one. Well, I've been playing with it. I want to play just a little bit more, but I'll be honest, it's really cool how it works. There's not that many buttons to it. I'll give you a little bit more time, but I'd love to see at least one person jump into it a little bit. What it allows you to do, the fact that I was showing Jaffe that I thought was so cool, is if you take, let's see, and you select all of these rooms at the same time. Oh. If you wanted your building to be a little bit wider, notice how it changes all of the rooms to maintain their square footages that they're supposed to be at.
It looks like you could trace it.
The other thing it does is the second that you place any furniture in it, and I think I had showed you this before, that when you pick that furniture, when you pick that wall, that thing stays attached to the wall. Even though there was nothing attaching this piece of furniture, and I think the lady used this term, anchoring. The capability for that, I think, is really incredible. What I haven't figured out yet, and I think there must be it probably is a Hypar plugin, but I didn't see a way to import a Revit.
Hey, Brian, what is this program again here?
This is called Hypar, Hypar.
Gotcha.
And they were showing this software with one of the software sales companies. CTC, I believe is the name of it. It might be Microsoft. I apologize. I'm not trying to discredit anyone. But this was one of those AI softwares that they had. They were trying to introduce AI into the community, and these were the two it was Augmenta and Hypar. And I went back and did a little bit of research on the guy who set this up, and he's pretty impressive. He brought some of the really impressive stuff to Revit. I don't even remember what it is right now.
You said ACC, didn't you? You said this guy did all this stuff in ACC.
He did a lot of the ACC stuff. He went to work for Autodesk for like maybe 2 to 5 years, and now he's starting this on his own. And what's so neat about this, Mike, is number one, I had some people that have always asked me how to do bubble diagrams. And see, that's the neat thing about this is you could take this to diagrammatic mode.
Right.
That thing's stupid that quickly. And
Yeah.
the part that blew my mind was when you do this and you say, well, now I need to fit that in something a little bit narrower. You see how it automatically changes all of that. And you're doing all this without installing any software. And then the idea, from what I can gather, is you then take this object and you come up here and you export this to Revit. And that's where, Eric, you would have an advantage, because what I found is in order to export it to Revit, you got to get that HiPark plugin, and it only runs back to 2022. It does not run in 2020. And this machine only has 2020 loaded on it and probably only ever will have 2020 loaded on it. But it doesn't mean I won't test it with another machine. But if you have 2025 working, I would love for you to play a little bit in that. And what I ended up doing, I didn't get this part at first, is it needs these rooms where you tell it how many rooms and what the square footage is. And the idea is you're supposed to import that
from an Excel or some kind of spreadsheet.
Correct. And I had done one. What I had actually done was I'd made a couple rooms and I exported that to a list, and it made this fancy, cool little list. And then I just brought it back in where I had added 2 more rooms to it. But you see what this thing does is it tries to be smart, and it tells you which one of these are the things that are important. All right. So really you need a program name. So you're just getting the list that is the name. You would get the list. If this wasn't the count, you would say clear. We don't have a space count. And if you didn't want to use their colors, you could clear that. But you could also use this guy. See, I could use this column as the count. And now it will tell me how many of those I had to put in. And once you bring that thing in, then it tells you how many rooms you got to place. And then what you're doing there is you're seeing that you've placed 1 out of the 5 restrooms and you need another one. And you bring that other one in and you drop him in here like this, and you say, oh no, it's not quite that big. It's more in this direction. To get it to lie out, you need 3 more classrooms. And to me, it was just amazing that what it does is it shows you've placed 1,600 square feet, but you see how many rooms you got left to place. And like I said, the person I'm thinking about does this for medical buildings, does this space planning. And the fact that this file is shared through this function. Now, I don't quite understand this, but it looks like if I shared this, let's actually try it. I just need a name. Give me your email.
Yeah, Michelle.Mitchell5@outlook.com. You go down there.
No.
Huh?
I got a better idea.
Oh,
I don't want to actually share that. I'll share that when we're off site. And I'll share it with you, Eric, as well. Because I think that's just incredible to be able to do all of that
design mode.
with no software.
Yeah. Planners blue like that.
And like I said, I don't know if you saw any of it, Mike. The other one was this Augmenta, which is eventually going to artificially intelligence run your ductwork. Unfortunately, and your plumbing. Unfortunately, right now all they're focused on is getting in the electrical, which is a good thing, because I mean it gives us a chance to discuss this. But there are, a lot of the large electrical firms really had to ramp up in doing BIM, because what no one seems to understand is they don't draw any of the conduit in the design documents. right? Have you ever seen a firm that when it's in the electrical engineering department that they drew the conduits? Never. At least with plumbing and ductwork, the mechanical and the plumbing people are at least trying to put the ductwork in. So that means when the average BIM coordination job comes along, the electrical contractor is really, really screwed. And that's why they came up with this software, is because they need to draw a lot of conduit. And anyone who's drawn that conduit, I don't know how much experience you have, Mike, but I know Eric can fess up to this. Drawing that conduit is not easy.
So they're actually using it on projects, this augmentation, whatever you call it. I mean, whatever the name of it is. The electrical.
Augmenta? I don't know. I don't know how many projects they've got. It looked like they were probably still down at a small handful of projects.
Would it be hard to learn that? Electrical's always a good field.
No, I think you would end up just needing to partner with them. I think that they, the beautiful part is the way I see it. I think everyone I've shared with you my mentality of wanting to go out and get a project is I think we would definitely be reaching out to Augmenta to see how we can pilot their program. I mean, and that's where Autumn, my daughter, really gave me an additional insight into an additional place where we could end up picking up work. And that is these AI companies really need experienced users to help feed them the data they need to make their AI even more efficient. And then, of course, she laughed at me and said, "You do understand you're going to be teaching the computers to replace you." Someone give me a little feedback on how that makes you feel. Do you care if the computers replace you at this point?
Not anymore. I don't.
So, do you think that's something we would be interested in doing? See, it gives us yet another advantage if we go out and try to get a couple of these jobs. You commandeer them, I would call it. And my theory is if you're commandeering a job when no one else is working on it, when does that happen? When does that happen? We all know that happens when a job goes out to bid because no one wants to continue working on that project till they know that that project's going to move forward. Now, how do we find those? I personally think that with a little bit of door knocking and using your network, I think you could reach out to a couple old architectural firms that you've worked for in the past and ask them if you could help them with a review of their project, that any project, and when it goes out to bid, so that you could also at the same time be reviewing it onto how they could clean up their file when they're about to do their construction drawings. And we all know how sloppy drawings get when they go for bid, right? I don't have time to do it right, just do it.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Right? You're being breathed upon. You're introducing all kinds of problems because you don't know if you're ever going to work on it again. And to be honest with you, depending on the size of the firm, you've worked on jobs that went out to bid, and when they came back in, you didn't even get to work on them.
Anything in Mercy Hospital.
Well, that's my theory.
I wouldn't even imagine they ever took those files up to Revit, but they might have.
They ever took the files up to Revit? What do you
For
mean?
Mercy, it was. I worked at 3 different companies that worked with on the Mercy campus, and it the CAD files just were garbage. Nothing ever lined up.
I wonder whatever happened with that. Mikey, do you know anything about CMC?
What you mean?
About that Megan girl. Whatever happened to her?
She got pregnant and left, from my understanding, and moved some like to Utah or something.
Texas, I believe.
Texas, yeah.
Oh, Mike worked with them too.
Everybody worked with them. You want to hear a cute? Everybody sitting in this room, because why? Why did we all work with them? Because it was the only work that was out there.
Mm.
Think about it. That was
'Cause
after 2008. There was no work to be had, and they were building. The only thing that was being built was hospitals.
Yeah, that was definitely my memory when I was at Odell.
Does that mean hospitals just aren't being built as much anymore? Or they slowed down?
Don't know.
I'm sure they did for a little bit, but I think they're built. I've seen a couple hospitals going up.
Yeah, I've seen some hospitals going up.
I'm going to my doctor that I'm going to see for orthopedics. They just moved to a new building in Toft Trees, so they're definitely doing stuff.
Yeah, medical got us hooked.
Does that mean that less BIM coordination's being done in the hospitals, you think? Or do you think more?
I don't know.
I think more. I bet they're just as much. They're trying to coordinate and spin off of whatever Megan did.
I'm curious. We'll have to do a little bit of deeper dive on that. I'll do a little bit of research because they were really the cutting edge. Mike, do you know who's considered the cutting edge in BIM right now?
You.
Oh, please.
Yeah, I mean, that conference.
Because remember Rogers hired that guy, and they were really working with CMC.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people out there that are really deep diving into some of this stuff. So, but I don't know of anybody in particular.
What's up, Brian?
Who is that? Thomas.
Yeah, man.
Thomas, who's the leading contractor doing Revit right now?
I would say Rogers.
You would say Rogers?
I would say Rogers. I know Holder had a hold on it for a little while.
I think at the end of the month. No, it's the beginning of the month. I think there's a BIM XT meeting somewhere. Remember that foundry we went to the one time? We might need to go up there again.
Yeah, I saw the old friend from Rogers there. I forgot her name.
What about the fact of how high a commodity is BIM? If the world gets blown up from this World War III, buddy, we'll be busy as hell rebuilding buildings.
We got to get the electricity first, right? And then we got to get some computers.
Well, I think that there's a real need for us to sort of get together a library so it's not so hard to start to file out. I was hoping Nathan would have jumped in by now, but it sounds like he's fallen head over heels for working the midnight hour with the creepy crawlers. I think I got a text from him at like 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock in the morning saying he was going to bed. So he seems to be bit by the bug.
Where's he working at now?
He's working with me, buddy. For 90 days. For 90 days, I'm going to work with Nathan.
Right.
And try to make him into a Revit user.
Gotcha.
What do we even call that now? VDC? BIM?
Specialist.
Virtual design coordinator.
Yeah, specialist dash
It
coordinator.
seems like the West Coast calls it VDC and the East Coast calls it BIM.
Right.
Virtual design and construction. That's another VDC.
Another one.
What about Jaffe? Give everyone your wonderful title, because I love his title for these three nasty softwares that we got to work with, especially this one with all these millions of buttons. Tell them what you're called, Jaffe.
Applications specialist.
Oh, is that what you're with? I know at one time you were a computational drafter.
No, well, that's a term I want to make more popular. But
Well, that's what I was trying to do. You got 40,000 people watching us right now.
yeah, I like applications specialist because it doesn't narrow me down to Revit, Grasshopper, or Rhino. But
Well, the way I look at it is I told Autumn when she told me that about working with the AI companies on creating this new AI software to replace us. I said that I think that's what Jaffe already did. I mean, didn't you really leave the drafting and the drawing all of the curtain wall panels and all the stuff you used to do? What just how many years ago did you leave your company? 2? Is this the 3rd?
it's getting close to 3.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So what's it like on the other side? Is it better?
So I'm not working on projects.
You're
So
not
that's
working
a,
on. Is that better?
You get a lot of
depends
value.
how you look at it.
Depends how you look at it.
And it feel good to teach someone how to do something.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun teaching people, helping people. I mean, that's making tools.
And you really don't mind walking me through, just showing me that because I don't know how else I would learn it, to be quite honest with you. But if you're able to do that, I won't waste your time. I'd like to try to have Misty and Eric, or potentially even Nate, so that you're teaching multiple ones of us. If you wouldn't mind doing that, I really see that as how much time do you think you could contribute to that?
Whatever you need. I mean, just doing an hour a day isn't too bad.
An hour a day, or an hour every other day you could live with.
Sure.
All right.
That's what I tell people all day long. So
How long will it take us to learn your software, do you think?
it kind of depends. I don't think it's going to take you too long.
All right.
Yeah. It's not for everybody though. Some people just don't like the grasshopper stringing stuff together like that. But
No, I can see the logic behind it. I can see harvesting information. Like I said, I definitely think that we need to write one for doing some placing some hangers and some simple type stuff. I really was showing you this because I'll be honest, I want to make this graphical scale. The way that graphical scale works just blows my mind.
yeah, I mean they're doing some cool stuff. So, but yeah, I mean it's still pretty limited to the design phase, right? That conceptual
Oh,
CD.
absolutely. Absolutely. That's all this is for.
And there's a lot of competition right now in that. So
In that because what was that other software you showed me was Test Fit.
yeah, there's test fit. The Forma's trying to get in, sneak in there somewhere. I mean,
Forma
there's
is you're saying Forma is?
oh yeah, yeah. I mean, they want to be that early on, do everything AI connection as well. But and there's probably 10 or 20 other smaller ones trying to do the same thing as well.
Gotcha.
But High Power's got some great people in it.
The high bar, the founder, the president, the little bit of research I did, it looked pretty doggone sharp. Looked like a one that I would bet on.
Yeah, I've been in meetings with like 3 or 4 of their developers. They're really good. They got the good ones.
Well, see, and then I think that you've got that tail end side of it too, which is the deluxe, because it doesn't take that much to go from here to go to populate and then to put it into deluxe. And I think if you show someone that all around package and have that ability to, like this one here, to be able to share that early on design with your owner, and then to be able to share that late on design with your owner, I don't see how you wouldn't be crushing people who are coming with a roll of blueprints when you're giving your owner access to that information right there on their cell phone. I mean, does that make sense to you?
Yeah, but I mean, aren't like being in the construction aspect, because like all the BIM requirements that all these contracts are doing, just like that casino or any of those stuff I worked with, like that you work, they have those outrageous BIM contracts. The subcontractors don't know how to use Revit or do effective BIM. That's where the rubber hits the road, where this stuff's just kind of fluffy. It might get built, might not. That's right. I like that the construction stuff where it's real, right? And that's a lot of money involved.
Well, and it's really ironic because, you know, the thing we're going over right now with Nate is getting him to build these, you know, build these houses and build these architecture. And we all know that the number one thing about that, where you say the hard drawings are, the number one thing is that architecture has next to no value added. That was something that I wanted to discuss today anyway, which is like for the casino, the architecture had the ceilings in, but it didn't have any of the soffit walls in, so you really couldn't do any of that coordination. It's like the architecture is typically lacking what you need to do the coordination. And more importantly, at the end of the day, the architecture has very little value in the coordination. All you have to do is make sure you're up above their ceilings and not hanging out of their walls. And that demand is relatively low. I mean, on the grand scheme of things, you're more worried about how you're organizing that plenum. Does that make sense? You think the higher value is there, and I then end up saying, and I know I've been told this for a long time, is and do you know what, when I say IPD, do you know what that means? Anybody? Eric, do you know what IPD is? You remember what it was from when
Yeah, we looked it up. I don't remember what it stands for anymore.
Well, I know that that's what the architects are all really talking about. That's the integrated product delivery, right? What that is giving them that information back to them to run the damn building. And I don't see anyone who's being even remotely close to successful on that. Maybe
Is
that's
that
something
essentially a facilities management model?
that's essentially the facilities management model. Which, the truth be told, if I had any intelligence at all, I would run over to the bank. I'd take out $500,000 from the bank, and I would pay you guys to put all of that information into the casino and go sell the casino that IPD model that they expect to be getting from Whiting Turner, but there's no way in hell they're going to be getting from Whiting Turner.
I know some people giving them the point cloud. They'll just do the point cloud of the whole thing and then deliver a completed point cloud. I'm not sure how that works for them, how owners handle point clouds compared to a Revit model or a Navis model, right? Isn't it always in Navis?
Well, I mean, I think, Jaffe, you're on the cutting edge. Do you know of anyone doing stuff like that? Do you know facilities management models?
There was a good presentation in Chicago. Hold on, maybe I can find his name real quick.
Yeah, but wouldn't that entail taking stuff off of the spec sheets and all that information so that every family has the data when you're supposed to change the filters, when you're supposed to replace the valves?
Yeah, well, a lot of what they're doing, they were integrating all the kind of Internet of Things. So there's like the sensors. So they put sensors in each room to monitor like air air quality, people in the room, so then they could adjust all that equipment and so all that equipment is also in that database, so they know everything about the building. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
I think a lot of people are trying to figure out right now how to integrate all these new softwares to make it work for them, because people still don't know how to. They love the point clouds, but they don't know how to use them sometimes. In companies, so they're trying to figure out. It may do a big jump. I know a lot of companies are about to figure all this out, because a lot of them are still like they're not drawn. They're barely drawn in Revit 3D, and they're starting to do it more and more, but they're beginners. I mean, there's only a couple experience in there. Maybe AI will help.
Brian,
I'm not sure.
is Deluxe intent is their intent to be that end game model?
Absolutely. Their intent, and I'll be honest with you, I think that's where we need to go back and we need to learn the Deluxe. We need to learn the Deluxe. And I think that the Deluxe will definitely open the door for me to have a whole different level of respect in the field.
Do they handle point clouds?
Yeah. I think so. We have to check.
I got a point cloud. I got a couple if you want to check anything.
So I put a link to I think this is the one I was thinking of, Avant Leap. There might have been another one similar. So they're integrating the digital twin along with AI and the Internet of Things.
What is the Internet of Things? That's a new term to me.
Oh. Did you ever? What was that movie with Tom Selleck?
Scanners?
Hold on.
Was it an episode of Magnum PI?
No, hold on. What had the robot? Like everything attacks you?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So it's like like your refrigerator now is like connected to the internet, right? So in a building that's
recently.
Runaway. From 1984, that movie Runaway. So that's what it's like.
I know everybody wants the refrigerator's connected. I don't like all that stuff connected.
Yeah. So that's
No,
the
I'm not a
internet.
fan either, Misty.
That's the Internet of Things. So like your toaster's connected, your
thermostat's connected, your battery charger for your car's connected.
So
I'm with you.
No control.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I think that's the one I was thinking of. It was some pretty cool stuff.
I bet.
And you saw these guys in Chicago?
Yeah, that was the CEO gave a 15-minute presentation, and
It seems like they've got just a California location, but mostly overseas. You know who the company is? MVDC Management, huh?
yeah. So that's kind of what you're talking about.
And you're talking still at a limit of about 130 projects completed. Interesting. And I'm assuming that's 130 projects completed by this group of people, but not 130 projects actually done. And what is this? Do they put the work in for you? Is it a software? What is it?
I don't know.
Well, we're going to find out. Use the digital maturity test to discover your current digital standing. Let's take their little test. Oh, let's find out how digitally mature we are. I like this. Start the test. Do you use BIM software for project design? Interesting. Yeah, we do. Which BIM functionalities do you use? 3D modeling, project coordination, clash detection, documentation and analysis. Only 3D modeling and project coordination. We do not use BIM. How often are digital models updated during the project lifecycle? Let's just say weekly. Which software do you use for planning and managing construction? Procore, Autodesk Build.
That list needs to be longer.
No, I think it says advanced tools like.
Oh, okay. I got you. I didn't see the
Right.
first part of that.
And from what I've seen, Procore and Autodesk Build, in my opinion, unpaid for, get their tails whooped by Deluxe. So I'm going to say that's Deluxe is an advanced. Do you use digital tools for documentation management on site? Once again, that's where I'm saying that the Deluxe allows that to happen. That was the whole reason that I even spent the money to do the Deluxe, was to have it so that it could go to the field. Do you track your progress and quality control using digital tools? I don't know. What does that mean? Does anyone know what that means? Track the progress. Do you track the project and quality? I don't know what that means. I'm going to say no. Do you have a digital system asset? I'm not familiar with those. We'll have to do a little bit of research. Jaffe, you have any idea what that means? CMMS, AFM?
Well, I think that's where you're talking. It's like that's a project management yeah, it's like a digital twin type thing.
Do you use digital twins for asset tracking management? And digital twins, all that's talking about is what?
That's having all the parts and pieces, like you're saying, like the mechanical equipment and the spec saying when it needs to be maintained, when it needs to be replaced.
Gotcha. Do you perform predictive maintenance based on the data by IoT sensors? Do you use common data environment, CDE, for team collaboration? I would say yes. If you're using a common software. Are the key personnel trained in the use of BIM technologies and other digital tools? Do you have continuous training plan in digital technologies for your team? So this is really about running. This is really, you're right, exactly on the money about running the building. Where do you consider which areas do you consider need more digital development? And that's going to be on this operations and maintenance and personal training. Your score is a 25.
Oh man,
What?
you only got the mid score. You're yellow.
Oh, that's what I would have. That's what I would have expected. That means that we have the digital maturity to get us to the level of the facilities management model, and that's where it stops. That would have been what I would have expected. That would have been what I would have expected. What are these digital solutions? Instant qualification.
Computational design, generative design.
What is data visualization versus real-time visualization?
So that's using like Power BI to make
Oh,
pretty graphs and stuff.
gotcha. Yep, gotcha. Interesting. Well,
How
what
we doing the
is
test? I'm sorry I missed it.
say again?
How we doing the test?
We got a 25. We were in the middle because we
Gotcha.
weren't doing facilities management. What is? But they must be talking about something else for this ACC integration. I'm watching his 11-minute video. Jaffe, feel free to drop out whenever you want. Thank
Yeah,
you
I
so
was just
much.
about to say goodbye.
I'm telling you, thank you so much. You gave us some good stuff to look at. We're probably just going to ramble for a while, but I do want to learn your software. You're a bastard for doing this to me again. I thought those DOQQ files were going to be the last time I ever followed you into a briar patch, but I think I'm screwed.
Yup.
Thank you, buddy.
All right, man. Later.
Eric, let's see if we can learn a little bit more about this, unless you want to go in a different direction. What are you thinking?
No, I'm fine with whatever. Sorry, I would. Mine starts. I'm dealing with mine stuff at the moment.
Gotcha.
So
Well,
just
just
I
drop
just
off
need a
whenever
minute.
you can drop off, and I'll just keep a rambling and I'm watching.
All right. No volume on my end.
So, doesn't say, I'll just keep it low. So, this looks very similar to Deluxe. This is what we should have been able to do with Deluxe. Do you have any experience in ACC?
I don't think so. Doesn't ring a bell.
Autodesk cloud computing or something like that?
No. Is it just you and me now?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Like I said, if they're talking, I can't hear anything they're saying.
No, they're just playing music and I turned it all the way down.
Gotcha.
I'm just trying to watch to see what they're doing.
This is ACC facilities management. Is that why we're doing this?
This was the ACC Automation Tools workflow copy. I don't understand the purpose of this at all. This is all about that review process. This is that same kind of stuff that's done. Misty joined. Let's see, I'll put her in.
Who?
Did you work at ACC at all, Misty?
Oh yeah.
Does this look like ACC that you recognize? Yeah, this is right here. It
Yeah.
is Autodesk
Mhm.
Construction Cloud.
Yep.
Right up here at the top.
That's it.
Did you do this kind of stuff where you had to approve and review it?
But you just have your members. Am I echoing?
Nope, you're fine on.
Okay.
You're at least on this end. You're fine.
Okay. No, I just mainly added members and loaded up projects and created views because you have to publish and then you show what you want to publish on ACC.
Yeah, from the publish command inside of Revit.
Yeah. I liked it a lot. The only one problem that we came into was that the folders were too long, and I think you can only have 256 characters. So we're actually trying to. Some of the companies just wanted folder after folder after folder, so it left us leaving our file names really short.
Yeah.
But see, look, this underbar. They're using underbar. I don't understand that.
Yeah,
Need
I saw that.
underbar.
They had some underbars. They didn't have that many.
I guess they're used to it. They knew not about the space, huh?
Let's see what these things are. That was pretty short. That's weird. It looks like it's an image, a movie, but it's not.
Yeah, they were putting their specs up on here. They were putting their civil files up here because you can just put everything up there. So everyone can look at it one time on ACC.
This looks like this is Revit key performance indicators.
So what? It's a diagnostics for Revit for your file.
Sort of looks like that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Let's see what else they got. Smart digital twins.
Are you guys
Does anyone
expecting snow this evening?
What's that?
Are you guys expecting snow this evening?
No. Are you?
Yep.
Are you?
Yep.
That's cool.
Not really.
Yeah.
You know what this LOT is? I've
AI.
never heard of that before. LOT. That's the Internet of Things.
Internet.
That's Oh, it's not LOT, it's IOT.
Yeah. That was misleading because of the capital I.
Wow.
Interesting.
IoT. I need to start remembering that.
That was what Jaffe. You walked out when Jaffe started explaining that's the refrigerator and the thermostat and everything
Yeah.
that has
Yeah.
on.
I heard that. Cool. Okay.
Wow. This is a little bit daunting feeling. That's how Jaffe will do you, though. Wonder how far off in the future this stuff is. Don't imagine most people with an average building are using this. This is pretty sophisticated.
What is this again?
It looks like it's that Internet of Things. They're able to tell when a piece of equipment is running hot, and then they're able to look it up,
Wow.
find out the
Okay.
information about it.
Wow. Okay. So you wonder if CHS is using this Internet of Things with all the stuff they've been finding out.
Like I said, I think this is still very, very much in the early stages.
That is so cool. The age of equipment, when you got to replace it, it would just keep everything you're building.
Well, there is. I mean, this looks like it's even reading out the sensors that are in that piece of equipment.
Wow. Yeah. On a BAS system, whatever you call them, this system. Talk to each other. Controls electrical people.
It's
Yeah, well,
more
what I
automation, less jobs for humans.
you know. Wow. Okay, Jaffe, leave it for Jaffe to head us into a terrible location. Avant leap. Now, what are these things? Mirror, huh? The original, the result, and all you were saying was give me an urban building with lots of windows.
I think a lot of architects are going to be not finding a job.
The
Amazing.
original, the result, render the living room white furniture V-Ray 4K.
Sounds like the one that you were looking at one time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that. I just can't wait to bring these smart things into Revit. I really want to do this right. I got to get it in Revit. I got to get loaded.
Get the desktop free trial. Get it from the App Store. Then what was the other one? The other one was a mirror, and then the personal assistant for Revit and desktop. Instant answers. Automate routines with AI. Better communicate and coordinate among the teams. Is designed for BIM managers and users, VDC coordinators, construction professionals seeking to optimize their project management and execution with AI.
That's me. I'm going to use these 3 months to be up on my 8.
Huh. Get an AI-driven guidance and automate tasks. That's pretty cool. Flash detection. Look at this. There's the button you've been looking for, Eric. Solve the
Easy button.
clash. It's a solve the clash button. Just put on, hit that, and it'll solve it. Architecture RC with structure MEP. Huh.
Will Revit find clash detection with an AutoCAD 3D file on your Revit?
Not always, no.
Okay. But it can find some, huh?
Probably depends on the objects.
If you bring it in, that's one of the ones that you have to bring it into a family and do a generic model and then run it against the generic model, and you can get some of it.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Looks like they're making the apps, and I would bet this is some kind of add-ins. Or D simulation. I know I've heard people talk about this one where it has to do with time.
Or simulation.
Yeah, for your construction simulation. So in other words, putting in the slabs, then putting in the columns, then putting in the ductwork. It's the order that the things go in.
Okay.
Generative comprehensive CSVs with one generate comprehensive visualize construction timelines immediately. That's what it's for, the construction timelines. And then what was the last one? Object visualizer. Create views for each set user. Revit built-in category elements. The lab. No upcoming events. That was where he just went to that one event. What about their blog? Huh. Pretty interesting. Eric, do you think you want to learn this rhino grasshopper stuff?
Yes and no.
Yes and no. Okay.
I mean, it's daunting, and I know that there's certain times of the day where I don't feel like it's even going to be possible. So, but if it becomes useful, it's like with Dynamo. I was able to learn it. I could see its use, but I couldn't see its use often enough to make it worth go. You know what I mean? Figuring it out.
Yeah. I'm hoping that there's a couple things we can do with it. I mean, I know that's where people are going to go, Eric. They're all looking. They all keep saying the last, the job is saying, well, if you don't learn AI, you're going to get replaced. I don't believe that, but it's good for us to know all this stuff. I think. I don't know.
Just
I haven't
say,
had Dynamo at all, so
well,
I'm hoping it can do one thing for us. If it can do one thing in Revit for us, then I'm really happy because I know it'll do
Well,
more later.
yeah, to be honest with you, that's one thing that I will say I definitely would agree that it was useful was when we had Jaffe setting up the sheets for us so that we don't have to go in and drop the legend on 400 sheets, or we don't have to go in and drop the the notes on 400 sheets, and we don't have to renumber everything and rename everything.
And I know that this year with that, and then in the next year, it's going to add one or more couple things to it, hopefully. And we'll get even more stuff out of it. Or
no, I would hope by the end of 90 days that we'll be doing our sheet setup at a minimum.
okay.
Our sheet setup, have that process down, and to make it to generate the key plans. And I think we need to sort of document how we did that and come up with that as a process. Like I said, you saw what I was pointing out with the graphic scale, right? With the HyPar software. I think that's something that we have to do as well. Get those graphical scales put onto the drawings. And who knows, maybe we can make those families a little bit better. But what I'm envisioning first off is, let's see, if I go to the elevations, we probably have them up already. So wouldn't you agree that one of the problems that you run into is all of these hatch patterns? That's always such a nightmare when you're starting out a new file or you are introduced to some new materials. I want to make a place where we can have all of our materials.
Does that mean that we're stealing AutoCAD patterns and bringing it using those for our patterns in Revit?
Well, no, because what I think you want to do, and this gets me to a spot that you downloaded the Grasshopper and got it running in your machine.
Okay. Grasshopper, what's it called? Rhino for Revit?
Rhino inside, and we'll do it.
Rhino inside Revit. Okay, I'll do
Did
that.
you get that working yet?
I'm going to do that today.
Well, you want to do it right now because you want to do it.
Click on the top link in the comments in the private chat.
Go to the private chat.
Okay. Let me share my screen. Let's see. Let's see here. Ah. screen. Like I said, come up here in the chat window. That one. Ow! No, not there. StreamYard. Right. Oh, I see it.
You
And
see it?
it'll just throw a file into your download folder.
Oh, and just
When you-
copy it? Okay.
No,
When you
it
click
just
on- when you
automatically
click on it,
downloads it.
it'll download it.
Say it again.
When you click on that link, it'll download it. Then once you download it, you install it.
Okay. Sure. It won't do that. So that's all right. Copy. New private window. Okay.
So what I'm sort of tussling with is how do we make this library?
Are you talking about for just the materials? Or are you talking about a library for materials, a library for families?
I think we need to sort of decide what libraries and, nothing more than right now. I just want you to start thinking about how we're going to break this stuff up.
I think it's going to be similar to how you used to do your stairs and your railings, where you have a file with those things in it and you can just copy the properties across. At least for materials.
And what are those objects? Generic models?
I mean, I guess for materials, it just has to be able to have it applied in there, right? Or it doesn't even have to be applied in there. Can't you copy materials as a?
Well, see, that's where it comes down to the actual user. But what I'm saying is, you should be able to go to manage transfer project standards, right?
Uh-huh.
Then all you would need to do is bring those materials in.
Are they on that list?
Right there.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, so you wouldn't even need to have an object, right? The materials library doesn't have to be on an object.
Correct. I'm not arguing that point. What point I'm arguing is how many users are comfortable in the transfer project standards to that level.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yeah.
And see, that's where I'm saying, and almost, maybe this will be one of the first things that we do. But if we had all of those materials, okay, we made a new family. I think I'm going to push it over here so we can see it better. I think I will. So just bear with me. Let's see. I need to stop sharing this screen. I now need to share that screen.
That didn't happen in my original window. It says login link successfully validated. Go back to the original tab window, but I guess I'll go back.
Make sure you close out of Revit when you're doing it.
Oh, okay, I'm not in Revit, so I guess I'll just X out of here and hit that thing again. Oh.
All right. So where I was going, Eric, was file and just break in when you get to that point, Misty.
Okay.
If we made a generic model, that was simply an extrusion.
Oh, you're saying as something of a means for them to be able to see what it is, so they're not just dragging in every material.
Correct.
They could just open this file and copy in one box.
Well, I'm trying to go. I'm trying to build the step that we need Jaffe to do. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we make this guy, he was 4 foot, so we'll make him 4 foot tall as well. Then I believe, oh no, 8 foot tall. So if we loaded that into the project and we stuck one of these over here to the side. Now, if we went to the 3D, remove this crop box, we'd have that box. So you can see that you don't have the ability to assign its material. We'd like that to be an instance parameter. So we go back into that family. We take this guy, and right here where it says material, we make a new one that's material. And we would make it be an instance. Now, if we load that into the project, you would agree that right here's the material. You can now come to that and put the siding on there. See, so if we took a bunch of materials that we've already created, stone and earth and all of that stuff, you could have these on these boxes. So you could have all those materials then come into the into a project that you had.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could simply say, I need this one and I need this one, and I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to go to my, I thought I made a brand new one. I didn't. File, new project, architectural. See, now when I'm in here, I could paste those. And when I do, it would bring that material in. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, it did not bring this material in, however. You understand that?
Why
Because
not?
that material was already in the project, because that material's in the standard project.
Oh, yeah.
And see, what I'm saying is, I think with Jaffe's tool, we could get this to repeat as many times as we needed for the materials that were in the project and apply all those materials to the project. In other
Say
words,
that one more time.
in other words, with that grasshopper, we should be able to get it to go. If I came down to families, is there a materials? There's not a materials here. The place where materials is under manage and materials. So in other words, it could go get all of these materials and say there's 256 there's 256 materials, at which case it could then copy this thing however many times that was and apply those materials to it. But what I want it to do is I want it to go grab those wall materials and put those on. I don't know. I'm a little overwhelmed right this minute, guys. The idea is this could then be your very top material. This one would be your second to the top material. And what I'm saying is,
You want it to do all that for you.
I think so. I think so.
Do I need to restart my machine for that Rhino and Revit?
Nope. Nope.
No, I
You wanna
didn't
share
have
your
to.
screen? We'll take a look. Let's take a look at your screen. I'm coming.
Sure. Maybe I don't have it right.
No, it should have added that. It's not added to it.
Okay,
You
because I
did-
have this. I did this one here, and I ran this, and this is what it said. Said, hold on, I don't know when my mouse disappears whenever. I would get my mouse back. Here, here. And it says this. And it says, I know Revit setup. Oh, yeah.
You need to get out of Revit though before you do this. You can't do this while you're in Revit.
Sure. So which one? Just remove it and add it.
Yep, and then run it again. That's what I would do.
And then it says this one. This was the question asked me before. Do you want to allow this app to make changes to your device? And I think this one is the Rhino and Revit people.
Yeah, we can't see your screen, so I mean,
Yeah,
Oh.
we can't see what that pop up that comes up, but I always just click yes if I'm installing software.
Perfect. Yes. Okay, great. And then it says finish. I don't know this Revit setup finish. Okay, so I did that and I got Revit. So let me do it again now and add it. And this is what it does when I add it. Let me get my mouse again. Here. And it says AI accept. And then I say, can you guys see my screen?
yeah, install.
And I say install. And then I say yes to that information. Completed Rhino and Revit. Exit
Yeah.
setup. So now open up Revit.
Yep.
Okay, Revit 20. Rhino and Revit requires Rhino 7 or 8 installed on this computer. So I say
Yep.
download Rhino.
You didn't ever download the Rhino.
Yeah, I never did this. So what do I, let's see here. Download
Do the evaluate. Yep.
this one.
That's the one you want to do evaluation.
Okay.
And you got to log in.
Yeah. Oh, that's not Google. I don't want to sign with Google. I was going to do them with just me. Okay. Is that what it did? Let me log in. Let me see. There we go. It should be this no junk mail. There it goes. I know. Yeah.
You must be doing
It's
something on
that.
your other screen.
Yeah, it did. Oh yeah, yeah. It was just the other ones. It was just that it came into my email. So now I'm good. So go back to the account and then hit agree.
Download English now.
And I picked all these things and I say, yep.
Now it's up at the top. You got 2 copies download.
Okay. So now I got this one. I always do that. I'm only good in Revit. And I'm not good at cooking. You think this is getting both of them or I gotta do it again? That's why I know age.
What's that?
Okay.
You probably got to
You think
do
I have to
F5.
Another one.
No, I think you should. But it's not done yet. It's
No.
well, maybe it is. I don't know.
No, it's not. It's not. It's still going.
Make sure
Yeah.
you copy those numbers right there.
Oh, okay. In that
That
You mean here?
RH80, actually, it looks like it's the same numbers. I just copy them and then I paste them into a folder name. So I have them because it's going to ask you for those numbers once you get Rhino running.
Oh, okay.
Those
See, let me do
numbers
this.
right there in yellow, in the yellow box. There's a little
Okay.
copy the clipboard symbol on it.
Oh, is it? Okay, well, I got it. So, and then we do a save. I don't know why it's been doing this like video. Stop. So if I want to do a snip,
Yeah, they've
I
really
don't know
messed
why.
up the snipping tool.
I stopped snipping for a little bit. I just couldn't figure. I just didn't look. Okay, now it's file save.
Yeah, but see, if you just hit that little clipboard next to the number on the original screen.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, sure. I just want to make sure. Let's see here. I did casino. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do Rhino and Revit.
No, that's not gonna be a file, baby.
Okay. So.
Hit F5 once.
Oh, okay, that's right. F5. Okay.
Refresh. I don't know if it's downloaded yet.
Here it is.
There.
That looks better.
That's pretty dumb that it doesn't update that my computer window.
Once it's done,
Yeah.
I don't
I've
know,
been
man.
noticing that more and more. I've been noticing that more and more.
I've been noticing a slowdown on a lot of things across the board, not even just related to the internet. It just seems like everything's kind of bogging down, and I'm wondering if there's something going on.
Yeah, probably.
Traffic is crazy everywhere now for some reason. I don't know why. But...
Oh, down your way? Yeah, no, it'd be hard pressed for me to be driving through Charlotte anytime soon.
Oh. My brother came to visit me yesterday, and he said he was in Ballantyne. It took him 45 minutes to get to Fort Mill.
Please, I went to DC and it said an hour and 35 minutes to go 7 miles.
I couldn't live like that.
And it took every bit of that to go that 7 miles.
Yeah, Josh didn't like the traffic. That's the one thing he really got to him when he got here. Cause and in Utah, we're not like this.
Is the list on the right what it won't do? Is that what you were saying?
That is the list that prior to 2022, it appears, were left out of the multi-category schedule.
But they're now in it?
They're now included in it, I think, in 2025.
Okay.
But that doesn't tell us that everything is now in there. Just tell you to add those things.
Yeah.
So my thought process is with 2020, you need a multi-category schedule, and then you need a wall schedule, roof schedule, floor schedule, railing schedule, ramp schedule, stair schedule, ceilings. Wait a second, curtain wall mullions used to be in there. But this was my multi-category schedule. And I was to draw a wall.
Oh, restart now? Okay, I gotta restart my computer, so I'll come back. So
That's fine.
that,
Okay, the reason that didn't work because I was in the wrong file.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are you sure that schedule's in the right file?
Yeah. So you'll notice it scheduled the curtain panels, but didn't schedule the curtain mullions.
Gotcha.
It didn't schedule the window or the wall.
But that's in 2020. Those things have been added.
That's where I'd love to see you with 2025 pulled up if you got it. We could look at it.
Yep. Sorry, I just sat down for a minute. My back is jamming me up. All right. Let me put this up here. Where is a multi-category schedule?
Oh, hold on.
Oh, there it is, right on top. Never mind. And then you just apply all the fields?
Nope, then I just usually do the category and then the count.
Oh, sorry. All right. And then
What do you got there?
that's the grasshopper.
Right, you can close that grasshopper in the rhino. Yeah, but see what I'm saying is, what do you have in this?
Oh, I just the Victorian house I started drawing last night.
Gotcha. That'd be a nice challenging one.
Doesn't have all four elevations, so I was going to have to do some estimation, and I put it in and started drawing walls, but the floors aren't lining up. So
Just draw a curtain wall. Yep, not the curtain wall one that doesn't have any mullions.
no, doesn't look like they've added it.
You're in 2020.
Son of a bitch.
That's all right. We get to see that comparison.
I thought I had them both open.
Mike, did you need anything or just come back to see us?
Oh, I had a meeting to jump on whatever for this little project, whatever, and I just jumped on to see if you guys were still goofing around.
Yeah, we're still just trying to explore a little bit.
Gotcha.
We're trying to see these new things that were added in 2025, actually in 2022, to to the multi-category schedule.
Gotcha. Well, can you carve out a little time for me tomorrow so we can draw a lovely family for me?
We can do it now.
Seriously?
Yep. That's what we're here for.
All right, let me shoot it over to you.
What is that, a sample project?
Yeah. Damn it.
Combined so that it's just the categories. Yep, down there. Go to sorting and grouping. And then take that checkbox off. You didn't sort and group by category. Now you see curtain panels, and curtain mullions.
Yep.
You also get walls. You also get the wall suites. You got all the stairs. You got the railings. And you got the ceilings that we normally wouldn't get prior to 2020. You even got a new one that I've never seen, which is called hardscape. One must have been a new category that was added.
Stairs supports. Did it say handrails? Railings.
Yep. So, what you're needing, Mikey, is that pipe support?
Yeah, I mean, so there's a PDF in there. These are clamps, right? And 3 inch. This particular type goes up to 3 inches. It's going to be welded to each beam for each pipe. So I got like 2 inch, 3 inch, and some smaller ones as well. 1 inch, 1.5 inch. But not only that, they also utilize that, like you see in the picture, the coming off the floor using these clamps as well. So I'd love to have something adjustable or parametric, I guess, that I could, adjust the height of something like that.
Let's see. If I share the screen, this is what he's looking at. How do you think we build this, guys? So you're talking about this picture over here.
The other picture, actually. But well, I mean, like, yeah. So that top piece right there, that's a separate piece right there. So that metal plate and the two rubber pieces in between, that's the piece that gets, say, welded to a beam. But off the floor, they attach that piece underneath there that's adjustable, so they can attach it to the concrete.
And this is what you're talking about here.
Yes, sir. So what I'd like to do is just have something that's parametric, like one family of this show. Oh, I don't know. You tell me what's the easiest thing to do. I mean, if I just draw one of those pieces of families right there, for a 3 inch, one for a 2 inch, one for a 1 inch, whatever. Or do I make one and make it adjustable? Because that's what I can't do. But then I'd like to have this piece right here with that little leg in the bottom to adjust it to some of the pipe, because it doesn't come off the ground very much.
You're talking about
That little picture.
this one here at the bottom.
Yes, sir.
What are you going to do where all this is welded like this onto the beam?
What do you mean? I mean, well, you see that piece that's on the right hand on the left side, where that little metal plate, that little 1/4 inch metal plate is, at the bottom.
Here?
No, on the other picture on the left.
That
one
one?
right there, right. So that right there gets. I mean, that's the same as what you're looking at right there, and the one on the right, it just gets stuck on there and then welded to the beam. Is that what you're asking?
Well, so no, I'm asking this beam. Are you building that?
Yeah, yeah. We're gonna build those stands. Yep.
I don't think I would make both of them the same. And I think the real question is trying to make this creature here's what you really want to do.
Right.
And which one are you making?
The rubber one, not the aluminum.
The one with the polypropylene.
Yes, sir.
All right, and I think if I remember, there wasn't. See, because this is really all the attachments that you use for it.
Correct. But as you see in the picture, I mean, all they do is they just use that little piece that holds the pipe together with those two pieces of metal,
Yeah.
which doesn't show in that right there. I guess more
Right
like
there, this weld plate.
correct. And that's what they attach to the beam.
As opposed to the cover plate.
Correct.
So when we go back to this sheet, how many of these sizes are you using?
1 inch, 1.5 inch, 2 inch, and 2.5 and 3.
No, there's no 2.5 in this version. Oh, right here, 2.5.
Yeah. But
So,
realistically, you see how, like the 2 inch to the 3 inch right there are the same size, kind of.
yep.
I mean, I don't think we need to necessarily. I mean, cut out a perfect size hole. I think I could use one for all those 4 or 5 together, and then one for the 3 together, and then one for the. It just I drew this in 2D, not 3D, on something a couple of weeks ago, and it just didn't look very large. But that's what they're going to use.
A2, A1, A2. All right. All right. Let's see. Any recommendations on how we make this, guys? I'm going to go ahead and close out everything.
You're trying to do it with one family to do make it parametric?
Well, I would think that you don't want to make too many doggone families.
But you're going to make it in parts, correct? Or would you just make all the extrusions in the main family?
I'd just make all the extrusions in the main family if it was me.
Okay.
I don't think we have that many different variables that they're giving us.
I think that's where you need to look at the taps into pipe, attaches to pipe, or whatever command. correct?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, these all even use a 1/4 20 bolt. They don't even change the bolt size, just the bolt length. And all they're really giving you is the A1, the A2, A1, A2, H1, H2, and I'm looking for the A3 number. Right
Down at the
here,
bottom. Yeah.
which
Doesn't exist.
A3 is showing like to this edge.
On the outside, I got you.
Why would that be different? That would really be dependent upon what kind of backer plate you're using.
Right.
Whether you're using the S. See, the R is different, and this guy's different.
That's the SI. Does it talk about? Oh, no. Where does it talk about that in there at all? The SI or the S?
That's somewhere in your ordering. In your ordering, there's got to be that S. See how this has this suffix?
Yeah.
So I think all of these are S. I don't see an SM. See how I see an SM there? And I
Right.
don't see an SI. See, that was where I saw this as an incomplete thing,
Right.
which is typical what we get,
Yep.
right? And we've talked about this before. And then you sent this page, which really doesn't give you squat.
Exactly.
I mean, it really doesn't tell you anything about this. So what you're wanting to do is to basically build these three right here,
Yep.
right?
Maybe the 1 inch as well. 1 inch, and then the 3 at the bottom there.
Well, that's going to be S5, S6, and S7 the way I'm seeing it. That's what Brian was saying.
Yeah, but I got 1 inch pipe, which is the S3, right?
Now you got a 1 inch on the S5.
Where? What's the column? What's the other column for? Let's see. Pipe
One says
size.
pipe
Tube
and
size.
one says
Oh, I didn't. Okay, so that's the pipe size. I got you. I'm with you. I'm with you. You're absolutely correct. So you're really, yep. S5, S6, and S7. Sorry, I was looking at the first column there. That's tube.
Where are you seeing the S5, S6, and 7?
The very first number in the
First
tab
two
table.
letters. You're just talking about those first two letters.
Yeah.
Well, they actually have a grayed out column right there beside your
Right.
hand, Brian.
Oh, the gray column. Yep. All right. I'm with you.
The first column is the tube, and the second one is the pipe size. So, yep, you're right, Eric. Not that I ever doubted you
Nope.
lately.
I guess the question I would have, we have to start out with a new mechanical template, and we draw a piece of pipe. That is 2 inches in diameter. That's your big size, right?
3 inches.
3 inches is your big size. You do have a 3 inch. Well, no, 3 inches wasn't available in clamps you gave me. That's only available for a 3 inch tube,
Tube, yeah, shit.
not a 3 inch pipe.
You're right. You're right.
Okay.
Yep.
So if we draw for a 2 inch pipe, let's see. Make this fine, make this shaded. Give us a 3D view and window tile. All right. What I think is probably the best thing to do is to make one that when you hit the pipe, it makes it the appropriate size.
Okay, yeah, that would be awesome.
Okay, so in order to do that, we've got to read the pipe diameter when we make our family. I'm going to go over to this one here. I'm going to make my new family. I don't remember if they can give you a decent one to make from. Let's see what they've got you. Do they have any kind of pipe fittings, pipe accessories? Do we go in here? Annotation? No.
Nothing.
And they do not have anything with pipe.
Hmm.
So my recommendation would be if we loaded a family, so we put in a pipe, and I would see this as a pipe accessory,
Right.
even
That's
though
what I
it's
was
really
thinking.
not. Go ahead.
I was
Go
just
ahead,
saying
Eric.
that's what I was thinking.
All right. So we made a pipe accessory. It said there's none available. Let's see. Go to seating, Imperial, pipe, accessories. All right. How about this? This is how I think I typically make this guy. Is I come in and I go modify and I split this element, creating the easiest family there is, edit family, which is this coupling. Okay. Get him to a better scale. Now, if this, see how this the connector is linked to a radius, and you see how it says the word default after it?
Right.
That means that what it's going to do is be an instance parameter. Okay. And what we want to get is this pipe fitting generic lookup table. We can just use that lookup table. All right. I'm just trying to. I think this would make a very, very good starting point for it. And part of the reason I say that is because when I look at this in the front view, you should be looking at the side of the pipe. And when you look at it from the right view and the end view, you should be looking at the end of the pipe. I think we can make this into what you need. So if we take him and we save as pipe clamp, and maybe I won't do this in there. I'll do this back here in training. Call this a pipe clamp. Love that type selector being stuck up on my damn screen right in the middle of where I got to work. Did you see how I got rid of it, Eric?
How? Go on another one?
Yep, just took my cursor over onto this stuff. You have to
Well,
go to another spot where they're
that's
going to
why-
give you.
That's why I turned those off, because I would have one that would stay on every time, and I would have to actually close out Revit to get it to go away.
Yep. So the first thing that's weird is this object here is the category. If I hide him, all right, they don't have insulation on this one, so that we're fine with that. There must be insulation. Why is that gray when I go to medium? Because in medium detail, visibility and settings is turned off for medium. That's why. All right, bear with me. So what they're saying is when I go to a medium detail, it turns to that object. Which is what you're seeing here. You can see these lines right here, right? That's what that's trying to show. That's why that's grayed out. We only have a couple connectors. All right, I'm good with that. See, this is where I typically take these things and I put these in the other category. And all we're going to keep is our important parameters, which is that radius and that diameter. The length, that'll come from you fitting outside diameter. That one we can probably get rid of. But we'll keep it so that we can see how this lookup table works. See that lookup table? See that thing right there?
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing that's determining from the lookup table, which we're going to go into. Manage lookup tables. Pipe fitting, generic. And I'm going to go ahead and export that. Good, into training. I like it. So that now if we go to that pipe fitting training, we can open him up with Excel. All right, where's it at? Another screen. All right. So what this thing does is this looks up the size of the pipe, which you said you had 1.25 inches, an inch, 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches, and 2 inch. Is that correct? Do you see any that you're missing?
That's pretty much it.
All right, so I'm going to take these guys and delete them. And these guys. And delete them. So now what I got is the nominal diameter and then the FOD, length and inches. All right, so this is, you notice how that's written. Let's see. You can see that FOD, number, length, number, inches. So if we wanted to make new ones, which that's what we want to do, we want to make A1, A2, A3, H1, H2. Agree with that?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
All right. So what we would need to do is this. Control C, Control V, A1. Control C, Control V, A2.
H1, H2.
Yep. H1 and H2. Okay. So
then you would put in the size that is on the chart. Like for A1, you would put the 3.70 inches in there. You're blowing my mind.
anybody there? Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear
Did
me?
I drop out?
Yeah. Can you hear us?
I can hear you now. I don't know what happened, but I lost connectivity.
Oh no.
That's what I was talking about, man. It's happening.
Well, we just upgraded to the. Is it skipping out, cutting out?
No, not like you usually do.
All right. Let's assume that was just like World War III just happened and we didn't know about it.
Oh, don't say that.
All right. So we look at, if you'll read these numbers off to me, Mike.
All
We're
right.
looking at this 1 inch right here. We got these numbers 2.04, blah, 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 right?
Right.
All right. Let me put those in.
All right. So A1 is 2.04 inches. And then 2.75 inches for A2. And H1 is 1.25 inches. H2 is 2.52 inches.
All right. And those are all the same for the next one.
Yes, sir.
And then the next one is what?
The next one is 2.59 inches, 3.38 inches, 1.41 inches, and 2.83 inches.
All right. And then the last one.
3.70 inches, 4.75 inches, 2.00 inches, and 4.05 inches.
Okay. Then what you do is you do this as a file, save as this PC. And we want this to be our clamp. Then, more importantly than that, is we need to make this a CSV file. File, save as. Oh, it was already a CSV. I had already knew that. So that means I should have created from here clamp CSV.
Nice.
All right. So that means that back in our Revit file, we can say here, the lookup table, we want to change that. Manage lookup tables, import, and we want to get that clamp CSV. We want to take this guy and we're going to end up removing him, but I recommend before you remove him, you see how he's named pipe fitting generic?
Mm-hmm.
We make him say clamp. Okay. So what we're going to do is this lookup table right here, we're going to just put in the word clamp. Now, if we've done that correctly, we should be able to make some new parameters, which we're going to call A1. That's going to be a length, and I'm going to leave that in a dimension right now. This has to be an instance parameter because we're making this stuff all instance-based, so it automatically adjusts it every time. We say, okay. We made A1. Let's make another one. A2. Before we do the H's, we're going to test this. What we want to do is we want to say size lookup table. Go to the lookup table. And
But it's going to look for a circle, not a square.
it's going to look for a circle, not a square.
But the pipe size is what's dictating which table it goes to, which column it goes to.
Don't pay me any attention. I'm just watching here.
I believe if I just name this A1 right here, right there, it should work. And what you'll see is what was your A1 value for a 1 inch pipe? 2 point something?
2.04.
That's 2 and 5 and 1/28.
Jeez.
See that? So then you're just going to take that same thing and we're going to look up the A2 value. And does 2 3/4 look right?
Yep, dead on the money.
All right. So we can add our other two. H1 instance, H2. And if you don't understand the type in the instance, that should become more clear in a second. So we're just going to, you see what I'm doing, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Control V, we named this H1. And H2. And those numbers should look close. If I change my diameter size to a 2-inch, those numbers look like they changed about right to your schedule.
Yep.
4 point something. 2, I think they're right. I think we're getting the right readouts.
Damn.
Does that all make sense to you, Mikey?
Yeah, scary enough, but it does.
Okay. I'm trying to look if there's anything else. I believe at the end of the day, we'll be able to get rid of this fitting outside diameter and this fitting outside radius. We just don't need them.
Gotcha.
All we really need is that nominal radius. And I'm going to take this tick size and I'm going to move that down to the other as well. Other. All right. Like I said, we're probably going to get rid of this fitting outside radius and fitting outside diameter because we don't actually have that in our object. I'm going to go ahead and say, okay. And now all I have to do is make my model according to there. So in the top view, right? You know what? One of those we've already got correct. The length. See this length? See how it was made to be equal to a fitting outside radius? That's not what it is in ours. It's our what value? Oh, it's always 1.2.
Yep.
Okay, so we can you got to get rid of this formula to make that happen. And for ours is always 1.2. Okay. So that means really I don't even want to be in my top view. I want to be in my elevation, either my left or my right. I'm going to go in there to the right. Let's see what the left looks like. Okay, we could do it in either one. Now, one of the things I like to typically do is I take all these guys here, and I found that if I right-click over that and maximize the 3D extent so they're not quite as big as they were, this guy's still the same. Let's have, if we do that, maximize 3D extents, zoom in. Maybe we regret that decision. We'll undo that. Just such an annoying pain in the ass to have it zoom all the way out. Make this scale a little bit more reasonable. And what we've got is we've got a top plate, create extrusion from my left. You essentially just got a plate up here and a plate down here, correct? Create. Hold on, my brain's freezing a little bit.
You okay?
I'm freezing. Tell me what I'm doing wrong.
I think you just need to do one loop at a time.
No, I think you got to
They're
go.
different sizes.
I think you'd be smarter in doing this. I think you'd be smarter making a reference plane here, a reference plane there,
Gotcha.
right?
To tie your dimensions to.
Take these two guys, make them be equal. Take this one and make this be equal to A1 or A2, I'm sorry,
A2.
right? And I'm not going to mess with the A1 right now. The H1 and the H2, are they half of each other?
Oh, let's see. 1 inch.
Not quite.
No,
Not quite.
close, but yeah, just a little. H2 is a little
And
bit.
the H1 is from the bottom. All right. So what they want you to do is they want you to do a create reference plane. They want you to go from here to here is your H1. From here to here is your H2. Where do they give the A3 value? They don't give you the A3 value anywhere, do they?
No.
Oh, yeah, they do. They did give us an A3 value.
Where? Oh,
Right
right
in the
there.
middle of the column.
You're right. Absolutely right. So for the 1 inch, it would be 2.83. Huh.
We're not going to worry about that.
Yeah, if it's the same size, the top and bottom, it's okay.
Okay. So you would now create this extrusion, left center. You would draw from there to there, and you would take that dimension and 1.2. Oh. 0.12 inches. You could take that, copy that down there. So that A3 really, the problem that comes in, Mike, is we're going to have to go add that column to our CSV. Then we're going to have to resave the CSV and then re-import that in before we can get it. But for us right now,
Well,
I'm just going to go ahead.
I don't think it's the end of the world if they're the same size.
I don't either. I'm just going to give you a couple little nudges.
Okay.
And what we're going to see is now we should be able to change our nominal diameter to 1 inch and hit apply. And you would see that thing change to the appropriate size.
That's insane.
Okay.
Yep.
So all you really got left now, granted, from the front view, that was going from the center. It's on this plane. The reason it doesn't go on this plane is this guy doesn't have a name. We could name it left, which would allow us to take this guy, and because you got to be real careful when you're making these parametrics, you can't have that thing where you remove it from the work plane or it doesn't work. So instead, what I wanted it to do was to be on that left plane. Then I use the align command and lock it in place. And now we would theoretically have those two plates that are at the top and the bottom. So all we're really missing is those bolt heads and then the piece of clamp that we actually see, right?
Yes, sir.
And I think that I would personally draw that if we draw that from the top view and lock it. Yep. So if we go to the left view, it means we're going to need to name this plane bottom of clamp or something to the extent. I'll show you why. Now, you could theoretically just create this extrusion. I'm going to put him on the left since I learned my lesson. Come in a little bit, and you're basically saying, and finish. If I looked at this in the front view, you would see it's really far. We could come back.
Hey, Misty just asked if you've got her muted.
Oh, I think she got knocked out. Are you back in?
I don't know. I've been trying for 20 minutes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I can hear you now. I apologize. I didn't see you. Thank you, Mike, for letting me know.
No problem.
Mike. Thanks, Mike.
Team players.
All right. So by making that shape, we should now be able to make these adjustments. And that thing should grow and shrink. 2-inch apply. See how that all grew, Mike?
Yeah.
So that's essentially your clamp.
Wow. Okay.
Now you could apply better materials to it if you want different materials, but what should happen now is if we load this into the now, one other thing. When I edit this guy here, front view, no, 3D view, left. We could add a circle in here and put a dimension on that thing. Now, you see how that is grayed out?
Yeah.
That means I didn't dimension the right object. So I went back to my dimension command so I can hover and tab and then tab that. I think, nope, that's my extrusion reference. I think that's the one I need. Nope. Anybody know what I'm doing wrong there?
You need to put that in before you get the extrusion. Before you do that, put that set already.
No, I think what's happening is I'm dimensioning to the same spot. I think if I just would have put this,
there you go.
So I made sure I got the right object, then I could put this to be the pipe diameter. Pipe diameter. Oh, nominal diameter.
So we wanted to say not the novel, you want the radius?
The radius would be half of that. I mean, you could have dimensioned the radius and done that. All I was trying to do is now in 3D, you would actually find this center object. Let's see. Not that object, but this one here. If we make that guy visibility to be none, what happens is now you'll just end up with that block with a hole in it, then the block changes our size.
Without having to make it a void or anything?
Yeah, you don't need that void now because that was what I was trying to do, was trying to hide that. By me having that pink circle inside of that pink square, it made that object.
Gotcha.
Now, these 3 lines right here,
Mhm.
you would want some kind of clamp symbol, which we're not going to worry about right now because this is more how it appears on your drawings. But this thing should work. Right? So we have an inch. You went from an inch and a quarter, you said,
Yes, sir.
and then an inch and a half. Oh, that was even at a wacky angle. So if it looks a little weird, just understand it's at a wacky angle. You should now be able to go create similar, pop, pop, pop.
That's awesome.
Is that all you wanted?
I
You
mean,
want the jack to go below it.
well, I mean, like it's almost like a different family though for that right there, wouldn't it have to be? How would you add that as a parameter to this family? And because it would be, I guess we use the same concept, just make a second family.
The
One
top
that,
of the top of the jack would be assigned to the bottom of the clamp piece, that reference plane, and the bottom of the jack would be assigned to the reference level, the floor level.
Yeah, but if you make it stretchable, trying to think how they did that. You know what happens when you start doing those hangers, and then you have to go get every one of the hangers and stretch it up to the structure that holds it.
You need an instance parameter, you mean, to control the elevation of the pipe? Is that what?
Well, I don't.
okay, click on that. Click on the one of the straight pipes you have on there.
One of the straight pipes. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, and let's see what. So it gives us. I'm just looking as far as like reference level, like level 1. So that says that the pipe's referencing the level 1, obviously, and
And it's 8 foot to
can
center.
we use any of those parameters right there?
I don't know a way to harvest that. I don't think that works.
Okay, I was just trying to figure out like with that, but never mind. Okay, I'm sorry.
What do you mean? What do you mean? You can harvest that in your pipe support. I mean, if you put this family into another family that controlled it going up and down with the instance parameter. Oh, I don't know.
See, if you pick on that now, one of the things I would say I don't like is notice how this broke into the pipe.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want that to happen. So back in this family, that's underneath the categories. Right here, it says part type union. And I don't think we want that to be a union. We want that to be. Don't think you want it to be any of those objects. I don't think you want it to be a pipe fitting. You want it to be a pipe accessory. And then the part type becomes normal. And then we got attaches, breaks into. So you see how we had to change it from the pipe. And it was a pipe fitting because I used a coupling first. Now I'm going to use attaches to. Let's try loading that in the project and see what happens.
Because you're saying every time if you use that, every time you put that on, it breaks the pipe.
Correct. Now I believe it's a pipe accessory, and we create it and add it.
Uh-oh.
Did you say it's always up? I mean, maybe that family made it.
I'm trying to figure out how that's attaching to that thing. Sure does look like, nope, it didn't quite get the center. Jizzle snappers. Let's see. That's attaches to, breaks into, end cap, inline sensor, normal.
You need to put the flippers in there in the plan view. Make it.
Everything is going to break it, isn't it?
Well, let's check one thing. See, that's what else it did is when it
It's not looking for the pipe anymore.
nope, it's not looking for that pipe. And it's more importantly, it's not changing the size of it. All these are the same size. They're supposed to be smaller.
Yep.
And that one even pushed that one out. And that one pushed that one out.
That's strange. Now what happens if you tab one time? Nothing.
Nothing.
Okay.
Maybe go back to the fitting. I mean, because you started making it in the fitting. That's really weird for an accessory to do this.
Everything is perfect until.
See, I don't think you need this guy anymore. Told you I didn't think we were going to need that, and I don't think we need that. See where I'm going with what I'm doing, buddy? You're about to. Let's see. New
You gonna make the
email.
magic happen?
What's that?
Are you gonna make the magic happen?
Nope, better than that. I'm gonna send it to you guys, and you guys can try it.
No.
And we'll
That's
read
not magic.
That's no magic.
Now, do we need to put the support underneath it too?
See, with that thing, I'm almost thinking like, what if we did a second family, and but then you have to enter two different pieces, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you'd have to go
No.
back and make sure you applied it to each one.
Yeah.
I just sent it. Listen, I just sent it to everyone. I want a little bit of time to play with this. I would like you guys to take a little stab at playing with this. And I'd either like to reconvene tonight or tomorrow, depending on what Nate does.
Okay.
As far as I should have sent you guys the pictures as well.
Yeah, that helps.
You want the pictures that he sent? All right, I'll forward those to you guys. Forward to Eric. And to Michelle.
It'll be just like old times. I'm doing Mike's work.
Ooh, damn. Hey, so,
I'm sorry, Mike. That was unnecessary.
no, man, that's all right. I love it.
Yeah.
Come on, man. But let me ask this question then, okay? So I'm obviously not the parametric person by any means. I don't even know how to spell it. But if I built one of these families by itself for each pipe, whatever, what's the big benefit? I mean, obviously I saw the benefit of the very beginning where you just like pop. I mean,
Here's the big one. Here's the big benefit, Mike. You would like it to be able to do that, wouldn't you?
oh, that would be nice. Yes.
Do that when you move it.
Gotcha.
The stuff would move with it.
Say less. Okay. Cool.
I don't think you want to surrender that away.
No, because it's pipes moving all the time.
because that pipe's gonna move.
And then if that keeps me from having to move, 18 that are attached to it every time, that would be very nice.
You know,
I've
I think it's
noticed that. Yeah, having my pipes moving and my support, I have to go back and adjust it.
Hmm.
and to be honest with you, that what we figure out when we resolve this is going to require to be for pipe hangers and duct hangers as well.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct.
And I'll be honest with you, it's partially that I've been going for about 2.5 hours and I'm a little bit hungry,
I
almost
understand.
hangry, that I'm thinking to myself, I'd like to play with this a little bit and experiment. But more importantly, this is where I think there's a real value in us getting together as a group. Because Eric, Misty, if you at least give it a half-hour try to see if you can figure out something when we reconvene, then I won't be the only one contributing. This is a perfect example of something Eric said the other day. Eric, I would like to come up with that base pay, but then I would like to be able to come up with these bonuses that are like whoever comes up with this solution, boom, gets this much money. Whoever can draw that house the fastest gets that much money.
Sweet.
Because that's how I think it should really be done, is whoever's really getting things accomplished should be getting that pay for accomplishing it. I like where this is heading.
Yeah.
Are you okay with us working on it for a little bit?
Of course.
You weren't going to meet till tomorrow anyway.
Right.
Let's see if we can't all try to give it at least a half hour to an hour.
All right.
And tomorrow before lunchtime, because Mike only works till lunchtime on Fridays, we'll reconvene and we'll go over what our results are.
Perfect.
Everyone good with that? And Eric and Misty, if you just be available, if Nate needs help tonight, I'd like to be able to try to help him out too.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, then we're going to take a little break and we'll kick off another meeting and do one, like I said, either tonight, but definitely tomorrow to review what we've got for the pipe clamps. I've got some ideas. I'll be honest. I think you could put that attachment in there, and I'm also going to try to put the bolts into it, because that was where the A1 value was to the center line of the bolts.
Right.
It probably wouldn't be a bad idea to show them. I don't know that it's absolutely necessary,
Right.
but first thing that's got to be resolved. I mean, on the bright side, we went over a lookup table. I don't know too many people that would teach you how to do that lookup table, but that was pretty cool, wasn't it, Mike? How that lookup table worked?
You blew my mind.
That's worthwhile for us to having in our pocket when we go to making these families. And like I said, if we get this one to work, then we can start making some of the hangers as well.
Mike, I had to teach myself the lookup tables for Angie's pipe fittings.
Oh my gosh.
And back then it wasn't attached to the file. You had to tell it where to go.
Right.
But more importantly, you had to have those lookup tables in a file location on your machine. And if you went to a second machine, it wouldn't find those lookup tables and your stuff would,
Wow. The struggle was real back then, wasn't it, Eric?
Yeah.
Well, the struggle still is real.
All right. Thank you so much,
way
guys.
to push this around into your group. I'm glad you joined back in, because I wasn't sure where I was going. And now I know where we're going, right into the depths of hell.
Nah, come on now. Thanks, everybody.
All right, be
Bye, guys.
good. We'll talk tonight.